The elite got a taste of their own medicine. I married into money in 2018. My ex-husband, I'll call him Grant, grew up with a nanny, a lake house, and parents who never once said no to him. I grew up in a 2-bedroom apartment with my mom and 3 siblings, splitting a box of mac and cheese most nights. We met at his uncle's restaurant. I was his server. He asked for my number on the way out, and 6 months later I had a ring on my finger. His true colors came out fast after the wedding. He was diagnosed narcissistic later, but honestly I didn't need a doctor to tell me that. The real introduction to his world happened when his sister Courtney flew in from Europe with her boyfriend Miles. We picked him up from the airport. Grant introduced me, and Courtney's whole face lit up. Jay, she's totally Jordan's, she said. Miles nodded like that meant something. Grant just laughed. I asked what Jordan's meant. Grant told me it meant I had great style. I thanked her. For the rest of their trip, they called me Jordan's. At dinner, in photos, in text to a group chat I got added to. I thought it was sweet. I thought, great, his family likes me. Then came the wine night. We were 4 bottles in, and Courtney and Miles kept making little comments about how the wine tasted off, how it was probably the cheap stuff from the grocery store. Real backhanded stuff dressed up as jokes. I let it go. Then somebody suggested truth or dare, because apparently we were all 17 again. Courtney dared Grant to finally tell me what Jordan's meant. They were all wasted, laughing before he even got the words out. Grant grinned at me and said, Jordan's is what we call homeless people who have swag. The table erupted. I sat there frozen, doing the math on every single time I'd smiled and said thank you. I wasn't as drunk as the rest of them, so I remembered every second of it the next morning, which is more than I can say for my husband. When I brought it up, he genuinely didn't recall saying it. Then he switched to, it's just a joke, don't take it so seriously. I pushed. I kept pushing until he finally admitted it. I may have told them about your upbringing, he said, how you're not really like us. Just to prepare them. Prepare them. For me, like I was a foreign country they needed a travel advisory for. I didn't cry in front of him. I spent the next few days keeping busy, letting the anger sit somewhere I could control it. Grant had bought a bottle of tequila for their last night with us. $200. Some small batch añejo he ordered special, bragging about the notes in it like he'd ever worked a day tasting anything that wasn't handed to him. The day before they flew home, the 3 of them went on a hike. I stayed behind with a headache that wasn't real. The second their car left the driveway, I got to work. I poured that $200 tequila into an empty water bottle and hid it in my closet. Then I refilled the fancy bottle with Sauza Gold from the gas station down the road, the $14 kind. I set up my phone on the kitchen counter and hit record. I poured myself real shots of the good stuff since I figured I'd earned it, and I talked. I talked about growing up poor, about my mom working doubles, about how close my family actually was even with nothing, and how grateful I was that none of that turned me into the kind of person who calls someone homeless with swag to their face and calls it a compliment. I went off. I got pleasantly drunk by myself in my kitchen and went to bed before they even got back from their hike. The last night, we sat around the same table. Grant poured everyone a shot of his distinguished tequila. Courtney swirled hers like she was at a wine tasting and said she could taste the quality. Miles agreed, said it was smooth and aged. Grant just nodded along, soaking up the compliments like he'd distilled it himself. I let them finish the bottle. Then I stood up, plugged my phone into the TV, and said I put together a little thank you video for their visit. I hit play. I watched their faces change in real time. Courtney's smile dropped first. Miles stopped mid-sip. Grant's jaw went slack watching me on screen, laughing, pouring shots from a bottle he recognized instantly, saying his family's name in a way that wasn't flattering. Nobody said a word. I stood up, collected the shot glasses off the table like I was clearing a birthday party, and went to bed. Grant woke me up an hour later, furious, saying Courtney was in the guest room crying because I humiliated them. Yeah, I said. Sucks, doesn't it? They flew out the next morning. Nobody hugged me goodbye. Courtney never spoke to me again, not even years later when we visited their parents in Europe. She found reasons to be somewhere else every single time. Happily divorced now. Still haven't touched Sauza Gold since, but I hear it goes down smooth if you tell people it's aged.